So I think we've all been in the same space that you've been, Sunil, plodding through trying to figure out what this entire change is all about. And maybe a good idea to start with is to talk about what makes this change happen today. Why is this change important today? And Nitin, do you want to flash some slides?
I'll share the slides.
Yeah. So I think that is one of the most important questions to answer, that suddenly why so many things are changing. We just had a change in ethics. We just had a change in, or an update in ethics, update in competency. So what's happening here? So we'll just take you quickly through the changes, what and why of them. What is this MCS all about? And what does it mean for all, mentor coaches today? All right. So I think this is what ICF has noticed, and this is what has been, given to them as per, others who've been noticing patterns across different recordings and so on and so forth, which is about easily identifiable candidates. It's also about scripted recording sessions and AI generated recordings. So obviously the world is moving. So today, whatever is happening in the world is what is actually impacting all of us in the ICF world as well. The second is also, I think these two are most important. Today, being a mentor coach just requires you to either renew a credential or be of a credential. And then you can continue to mentor anybody, which basically means Nitin will be mentor coaching differently, Saraswati will be mentor coaching differently, Ajit will be mentor coaching differently, Yatish will be mentor coaching differently, and so on. And I think that is one of those things that they're trying to now make it more standardized. And therefore, in terms of not just, what are the ways, what is it that you are anchoring it around so that there is validity to what you're saying. And also there is, you can defend what you're saying, what makes you say, as a mentor coach, what you're saying. So all of that. And I think that those are the best practices that they want to evolve through this change that they are bringing in. And the other part of it is also about how we do things. Everybody has their own style and their own approaches. So to make it a more standardized process, in terms of not just the process, but also language, culture, and accessibility. So everybody can have it. Everybody knows that these are all best practices that people have evolved. I'll give you an example. I've also been mentor coaching for some time, as Nitin has. And I suddenly realized somebody came and said, hey, you know what? The nuances that you are pointing out, nobody else is pointing out to me. Does that mean I'm mentor coaching beautifully? What do you think? The answer is I'm not sure. Because now in hindsight, while at that moment I thought, great, I'm doing a wonderful job. But I also realized that, which means that everybody is doing their own stuff. So how do we actually bring that into a more, governed and create more standardization, create more governance around it. So that's the reason why these changes have also come up. Right? Anything
If I may add, at one point in time, I think not actually one point in time, even today, anybody can one fine day get up and change their LinkedIn and say, I am a coach. From today onwards, I am a coach. Right? That can happen even now. But the challenge with the users of the coaching industry is they don't know who has been grilled enough and what's the standardization around. And that's what has been happening with the mentor coaching industry as well. Everybody who is a coach can say, okay, I am a mentor coach now. Without any standardized education, without any grilling, without any standardized competency. And that's when the ICF launched ICF mentor coaching competencies in 2024. It's not very old. I mean, it's just 2 years old. And I think that's when the thought process of, creating this whole standardization around the mentor coaching started.
And the beauty of it is when these, in 2024, when they put it up, nobody looked at it. I'm sure people would have looked at it, but nobody really put it into some kind of a practice or the other. So now I think with these changes, it's becoming more in front, for us. All right, let's move ahead with it. And I think all of you would, in some way or the other, have heard it. But even if you've heard it before, at the cost of repeating it, so what actually are the changes that they are bringing up? They are bringing up moving from summative to formative. Simply speaking, if you've been mentor coaching, you would have noticed, and particularly with an accredited organization, performance evaluation is your summative way of assessing. So now they're moving into a formative, which basically means that you are developing over a period of time and therefore continuously improving, so that the person is actually, you can see that their own, it is becoming more embedded into the way they coach rather than doing it for a one-time performance. So I think that's what it basically targets.
I think many of the parents will associate, because CBSE has been trying to move from summative assessment to formative assessment for a while now. They haven't been able to do that yet. There is still a summative assessments, but they are trying to move away from there and make the weightage of the summative assessment as less as possible and increase the weightage of formative assessments more. And I think ICF is just doing it in one shot.
I'm going to the third point, which is quality of feedback. I think quality of feedback is from the following aspects. One part of it is, and linked to the second point, which is standardization, consistent, etc., where you are anchoring it around something. So if you're anchoring it around level of ACC, level of PCC, or level of MCC, so what are you anchoring it around? I think that's one part of it. The other part of it is also to look at what is the way in which you are mentor coaching itself. And I think that has a significant shift in understanding or significant need for change is what they've also noticed. So there are some, in terms of how you're going to have that conversation itself needs to happen in a manner where you're holding the container, you're enabling development, you're evoking awareness. So there are lots of things that's happening in that conversation itself. So being a coach in that conversation as well. And there are lots of different ways when they say standardized and consistent mentor coaching methods, inputs and outcomes. The outcomes they want to standardize, saying that it is all going to be revolving around the competency or the credential level that they are at. It's also going to be anchored around saying, how are you going to do that? And therefore, there are a lot of supports that they are providing, which we will be sharing with you. So no longer would you be in a position to just give a verbal feedback and be done with it. It'll also be associated with a written feedback. And that written feedback is also something which ICF has now created some guidelines around it. Right? Saying that on what basis? So on competency basis, are you going to look at? Are you going to look at from this session perspective, are you going to look at? So it therefore becomes cumulative and therefore formative rather than making it at a one point in time. And of course, they're doing away with performance evaluation.
Can I elaborate on that? What does that mean, doing away with performance evaluation?
Good question. So I'll share something, Nitin, if you want to add, please do. So all this is taking place from 1st April 2027. So there will be no performance evaluation for any L programs, except for possibly MCC. That's a different ball game.
So when you say performance evaluation, do you mean recordings, that nobody will review the recordings? Okay.
Absolutely. So which basically means that you're looking at them not at one point in time evaluating the recording. You're looking at them continuously. And
that was like what you said earlier in one of the previous slides, that there could be a danger, or maybe somebody is faking it, like going through a scripted coaching recording session and then saying, okay, I submitting it for my evaluation and say, okay, I qualify then. Okay, understood.
Yeah, that's not going to be possible anymore. And while ICF is saying that they're doing away with performance evaluation, one of the aspects of becoming a mentor coach also is that by the time you will complete your last mentor coaching session with your coach, you are also expected to do a competency review. And as part of that competency review, you will need to assess, and I'm conscious of the word that I'm using, assess, because performance assessors are also going away. Assessment is going to become the responsibility of mentor coach now. They're going to assess and say, where is the person standing on different competency statements? So proficiency seen, proficiency not seen. For each of the sub-markers, and the person who is doing the mentor coaching needs to actually, see and show the evidences of all of that.
So does it mean the group mentoring session will no longer be valid? Because then you're in a group setting, it's difficult to do that, right?
So group sessions will be there. Individual sessions will also be there. The expectation, I guess, is that in the group sessions, you would not do assessment. Assessments would happen in the individual sessions. And let me not use the word assessment because that's not right. ICF is saying they're moving away with performance evaluation. Sorry, Saras, you wanted to say something.
Yes, and I want to come back on this word called assessment. And I'll tell you why this becomes important. It becomes important because you're definitely going to be looking at, hey, how are you doing against whatever standards that are there? And your standards will be your competencies, your markers, and so on and so forth. But I think the method of looking at it, or the lens, the lens that you're looking at it will shift. It is not going to say, have you got there? It is going to say, what is it that you already got? What needs to happen for you to progress further? And I think that is a significant shift. And that is where the language will also change. So does it mean that you're not going to anchor it around something? Of course, you're going to be anchoring it around something. Otherwise, how would you know? But at the same time, people will also be able to see themselves progress along that path. So for example, most of you, anybody who's done, L1 ACC coaches, or at least coach training, you've all gone through it. The most important thing that you start from the beginning is to understand how to contract, how to create an agreement, right? That's your, typical start point. So even there, you will be able to see how people are progressing along with it. So earlier it used to be so I don't know how many of us have actually used that to say, hey, what all is going on, what all could go on, without giving them the answer. I guess that's what a mentor coach does. Help them figure out what's going on for themselves. So let's start from the bottom. And the bottom says it is not a credential, but a specialization. So I know we've gotten into saying that, okay, so what is this? What do you need to prepare for as a mentor coach come 1st April 2027? What do you need to prepare for? You need to prepare for the fact that to be a mentor coach, now there are some basic standards that are important, that will be applicable to everybody. If you're an ACC coach and you're mentoring ACC coaches, then you should have done your ACC bars. If you're a PCC coach and you're mentoring PCC coaches, you should have done the markers. If you're an MCC coach, you should have, and you're mentoring MCC coaches, you should have done your MCC bars. So I think these are certain things which are standard. And that's what it talks about. Each level has its own specialization. Basically what it means is, I know the language there could be a little confusing, but if you're coaching, if your target pool of mentees whom you're mentor coaching, if that is clear for you, which credential they're working towards, then you should already have done either the ACC bars or the PCC markers or the MCC bars. So I think that's the first point. The second point that's important is to understand, today this MCS is another program, that coach education program that ICF is in order to bring about this standardization, people would need to undergo. Right? But this is not a credential. Unlike an ACTC, which they introduced later, it is a credential level program, and therefore it's called a specialty designation. This one is a specialization, right? But it doesn't go towards a credential. Yeah.
So I think I just wanted to add, just like when you see in L1 or L2, that there is an education necessity of hours and there is a experience hours, right? Similarly, here you would have education hours, and we'll talk about what those education hours are at different levels. And there is a assessment necessity, which is what Sir has talked about, ACC bars or PCC markers or MCC bars. And they are both independent in nature and kind of integrated as well. But they are both independent in nature. Your mentor coach education will not complete your will not certify you to be ACC bars completion or PCC markers completion. That needs to happen separately than your mentor coach specialization education. I just wanted to make sure that that is clarified.
Yes. The deepening and not the credentialing. That's very clear. Thanks.
Yes. So the program is primarily going to be focused on ICF mentor coaching competencies. Looking at the nuances, just like the L1 is focused or L2 is focused on the competencies and the nuances. This is going to the program. Typically, MCS's whole program, education program, is focused towards the ICF mentor coaching competencies. Objective is to hone the mentor coaching skills and abilities, and to develop the standardization across the mentor coaching practices, which are not yet standardized. Yes, Nal. Yes, Nirala.
So, Nitin, is it okay for you to just kind of simplify and explain what is required in context of this slide?
Oh, just wait for another slide and you will get the answer.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
So, Anita also has a question. Please go ahead.
So, Saras, what I'm understanding is that there is this mentor coaching program that you do, and then there is another one that you do, which is a mentor coaching specialization and 3 different levels. Is that what I'm understanding? Is this correct?
No, there is a mentor coaching education program that you do, and there is a bars or PCC markers or MCC bars. Those are the assessment related trainings that must be done, which are provided by the ICF directly on their learning portal.
Okay, got it. Okay.
And the reason to do that is because those are the anchors for any mentor coach, depending on whichever level that you're going to be mentor coaching around. So those you would anyway need to undergo, and that will be undergone at the ICF level. So going through the portal and doing it. But the mentor coach education journey, just like your L1 coach education journey or L2 and so on, mentor coach education journey has become now important. And what ICF says is, you need to understand and focus on what are all the mentor coaching competencies that you need to demonstrate in your coaching, in your mentoring. And that's what the mentor coaching education journey is about.
Does that answer your question, Nita?
Yeah. Thank you.
Well explained. Thanks.
Okay. Move to next slide.
A good question. So does that mean a PCC mentor coach, PCC cannot mentor coach? So your answer, hopefully this slide should answer.
So wherever you are, you look at this flow chart and possibly you would get your answer. So do you have a prior mentor coach? Do you hold an ICF credential? I'm assuming all of you do. That's why you are here. Do you have a prior?
Which is valid?
I don't know, because which is valid. Correct. Okay, which is valid. Yeah. So I think answering Sunil's question, right? Sunil was asking that question. If my PCC is active, is it possible to have an MCS without PCC? No, that's not possible. Okay, you need to have an active credential holding to have an active mentor coaching. Do you have a prior mentor coaching experience? If you don't have, then you go to something called standard pathway, and we'll talk about that in a minute. If you have the prior mentor coaching experience, then the question is, have you mentored at least 5 clients in last 3 years? Last 3 years, okay? And 5 clients would typically mean 10 hours of mentor coaching, group coaching, individual coaching, and all of that, right? That's the assumption that we're making. But ICF is talking about, have you mentored at least 5 clients in past 3 years? And if you have not, then you go to standard path. If you have, then you could move towards the credit for prior learning. And that's where the question comes in. Do you mentor within the ICF accredited programs? If you are mentoring in the ICF accredited programs, then whichever organization that you are associated with, they can give you a letter. And based on that letter and the 10 hours of mentor coach education, you can actually go and apply for your MCS to ICF. Okay. If you not, then you would need to go through something called ACC bars, credit for prior learning path. So these are the 3 paths that you have. One path is the standard pathway, where you would need to go through 41 hours of mentor coaching education, at least 50% synchronous delivery, and applicable evaluation, through ACC bars, PCC markers, and MCC bars training if you are applying for MCC. So this is the standard pathway. If you want to take the credit for prior learning, then the credit for prior learning path comes in, where you would need to show the 10 hours of mentor coaching education. You need to do the applicable training of ACC bars or PCC markers or MCC bars. And you would also have to show the evidences of 5 mentor coaching clients in last 3 years, which has obtained credential after your mentor coaching. That's not mentioned here, Saras, but we forgot to put that here. So ICF asks you.
Sorry.
ICF asks you that those 5 clients that you have put, those 5 clients should have credentialed. 5 mentor coaching clients credentialed in past 3 years.
Yeah.
Okay, not just mentor coached. You have mentor coached who have credentialed, right? That's the path that comes from credit for prior learning. And if you are mentoring in the accredited institutes like SCI, then I need to provide so for me, for example, I am a certified ICF coach. I have done the mentor coaching. I have mentored 5 clients in past 3 years, and I am associated with the organization which is ICF accredited program. Then I will be able to go back to my organization and say, hey, SCI, can you give me the letter? And can you give me a 10 hours of mentor coaching program? And as long as my organization gives the 10 hours of mentor coaching program and a letter, I will be able to submit them both and apply for the MCS credential with ICF. MCS specialization with ICF. Okay, and I'll stop. I know there's a lot of if and but here, and see if there are questions.
So I think there are 2 questions which have come up. One which has come up from just a second. So first of all, Nirali, does that answer your question?
Yeah, to a certain extent, yes. But anyway, you can answer Sunil's and I think Anita's question, and then I'll come back to it.
Fantastic. All right. So a couple of questions that came up is, what does synchronous delivery mean? Mary, synchronous delivery basically means what you do in this format that we are having today, live, online or offline, but when you're doing it live with each other. So that's synchronous. Async is whatever you're doing remotely. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Welcome. And so Sunil and Preeti have the same question. Sunil says, so renewals don't count. Preeti is asking, what about renewals? And I want to make sure that I've understood the question correctly before Nitin and I attempt to answer that question. So one is an assumption saying that renewals don't count. One seems to be a question. So what is the full question?
So if I may, sorry, carry on.
Yeah, sorry, I'll jump in. So for me, I have mentored a lot of them in terms of their renewal segments. So more than 5 for sure. And my question is, would that count as any of the have you mentored 5 clients space? And I'm not with any ICF accredited program. So where do I slot in? Is the question.
Good
And
question.
I'm going to try that. So good question, right? And somewhere some of these loopholes we are also not sure. But from what we have understood thus far, Sunil, and Nitin, please correct if it doesn't sound right. What it seems like is renewals will not help you get this orange box, which is credit for prior learning pathway. Because people should have, if you've mentored 5 clients in the past 3 years who've got their credential, you're mentor coaching for them to renew their credential. So I think that's where lies the answer.
Okay.
But if you do want to write into support and ask, you could. I'm not sure whether you'll get the answer right away, but you may. If you do, please help us also.
Saraswati, can I add to this?
Yes, please.
So I recently had a case where there was a gentleman who wanted to renew and he was facing problems with mentor coaching, and he came to me. So my understanding after writing to support and all is that most of the renewals happen where they do not require mentor coaching. They only require the additional education, and that also through portfolio pathway most of the time. So then when there is no question of mentor coaching in every renewal, so probably that is why for renewal mentor coaching, there is like they've kept a window open. ICF has kept the window open.
So I want to respond to that. So from April 2027 onwards, even if there is a renewal which is required and a mentor coaching required for renewal, the MCS qualified mentor coach is going to be required.
But Nitin, mentor coaching for renewal is only required when you are renewing it, I think, for the second time. So first time is almost 3 years and second time is like beyond 3 years, right? So after every 2.5 years, you're expected to have a new mentor coaching, because of course you don't want to get into bad habits and all that. But then for the first renewal, mentor coaching is not compulsory. So there has to be some clarity on behalf of ICF for that.
And that's the reason I said during the renewal, if you need mentor coaching, then the mentor coaching needs to be from the MCS qualified.
Of course, goes without.
That's all that I'm saying.
Yes. If you need.
Yeah.
Yes. So.
Okay.
And I know Yatish has another question. What's the process for availing credit for prior learning? We'll come to you, Ajit. Just answering these questions and then we'll come to you. What's the process for availing credit for prior learning? Nitin, do you have an answer for that, Pat?
Yes. So the process is that you complete your ACC bars or PCC markers or MCC bars. That's one. Second, you complete your 10 hours of mentor coaching and you submit the 5 clients of who have completed credentials. ICF will verify after submission. Okay, so you will need to submit, declare, and then ICF will verify.
So Nitin, my question was about the submission process because it's nowhere on the website of ICF. So I'm just curious.
Okay. So ICF is not yet opened for the MCS applications at all. When they will open, then this is what's going to be happening.
So for example, even the MCS program itself, the coach education, the mentor coach education program, nobody will have a credential accredited program today.
Yeah.
So even if they've been doing mentor coaching programs, they will have to go through an accreditation now because they've not yet opened it.
Yeah.
So even if I fulfill all the requirements to become MCS, I can't apply for MCS right now.
Right.
Sindhuja asks, what if I have not mentored anyone yet for ICF credentials and not associated with any ICF certified organization yet? Can I not go for MCS? So I guess you're asking, if I have not mentored or not associated with an accredited program delivery, can I go for MCS? Yes, you can.
Standard pathway.
Yes, and for that you will have to go through this path, the standard pathway, the blue part, which says 41 hours. So you'll have to complete that.
So
I hope that.
One quick. So the mentoring part of it, does that also accrue CCUs, or how is it? Because I've been mentoring students of higher education, especially the B schools, things for placement and self mastery. So do things like that also get counted here, or it's not?
No, only the coaching, only the mentor coaching to coaches, ICF coaches.
So this is specifically for mentor coaches who are coaching other coaches, mentoring other coaches.
Got it. Yeah, thanks.
Ajit, you've been waiting very patiently.
No worries, thank you. So the question on the green box, I'll make it quick. The last statement says letter of attestation provided mentor coaching to at least 5 students. So we are saying here students. That does not mean, does it mean that the students may or may not have got their accreditation, which is either ACC or PCC?
Correct. You have read it correctly. You have read it correctly. In case you are mentoring for an organization which is accredited provider, in those cases, the student may or may not have got credentialed.
Okay, got it.
Okay, but as long as the institution provides you a letter that you have been mentoring people on the students, that's good enough.
And number of hours also doesn't matter there.
10 hours is still required.
No, but how would they count? I mean, 5 students, 2 hours each?
No, 10 hours of mentor coaching is going to be required. 10 hours of mentor coaching education is going to be required.
Okay, that's separate. I'm saying for 5, the letter of attestation need not say that how many hours. It is just 5 students.
Yes.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Because the assumption is, and I think this is, I don't know, correct me if this doesn't fit in, but the assumption is that if you're with an accredited provider, typically these are the roles you will play. You will either be a coach faculty, you could be a coach faculty and a mentor coach, or you could be only a mentor coach.
Only a mentor coach, yeah.
Right. So if you're doing only a mentor coach, then that means you're possibly doing only the 3 hours. So now how does it change?
Yeah.
So Sarah, ICF has not specified anything around the number of hours. They have very categorically talked about the number of students that you have mentored.
That's what I wanted to clarify.
Yes. So you will need to provide the letter saying you have mentored 5 students as part of the accredited program. That's all that you need to have.
Oh. And who will testify for this?
Your institution. Director learning of the institution.
Which is the institution in context here?
No, so this is different, Nalina. I think your question is coming from the fact that this is for mentor coaches who are already mentoring people for an accredited program. So let's say if you did your program from ABC organization, and if you've been mentoring students in that organization, whichever organization that you're associated with, that's what it talks about. Yeah.
Okay, got it. And for that mentoring also, does one require like a PCC or some such thing, or ACC is sufficient? What is it?
To become a mentor coach and mentor people?
Yes.
So basic requirements are, if you are an ACC, you should have renewed your ACC, and you should have an active credential. So exactly this, can you see this flowchart behind us? This actually explains that.
Yes, I've seen this flowchart. I renewed also, and now I'm about 200 plus hours of PCC, close to 300. That's where I am.
Fantastic. So if you've already done that, then you have to answer all these other questions in order for you to become a mentor coach for other coaches.
Oh, lovely. Okay, so does one also have to self-learn for this, or is there a course specifically, or this is the one we are on?
So we are actually coming to that. So the 10 hours and the 41 hours, we are actually coming to that.
Right.
So maybe when we'll talk.
Then I think it'll put in context for myself. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So good to move ahead. Any other questions? Yes, Nirali, I see your hand up too.
So I'm sure again you'll say that you're answering my question in the following slide, but I'll just kind of clarify here itself. So what I see is that ICF portal and coach education training institutions like, for example, SCI, both are required now to play a role together for a journey ahead in anything that we want to do with ICF. That's what I'm understanding, because there are bars and markers that we have to do from ICF itself directly. And then you need support of coach education institutions to kind of, have people whom we can mentor. And then we will need some kind of validating letter or a certificate from the coach education institution also. So right now, this gentleman who approached me and he said that, okay, I'm just going to write your name and I'll write 10 hours of thing. And once we finish mentor coaching, he is going to apply. But that's like only between you and me. There is no institution or academy who is watching us doing it. So it's not happening that way now. So there, I think now this is more like a supervision from some coach education institution who is like credentialing for ICF. And then ICF is also keeping some string attached to itself, like, the bars and the markers has to be done from them.
So this is what I understood. If you are a mentor coach who is not associated with any organization, can you continue your mentor coaching? Yes, you can. If you are doing that, what you will need to do is, depending on whichever pathway you are at, you will need to either complete your 10 hours or you need to complete your 41 hours. So what they're doing is they're governing the way in which mentor coaching is being done in the industry right now.
Agreed. That's exactly, I use the word supervise and you said governing, which is the right word. Governing is a more appropriate word. But what I see is that even otherwise, I don't think I can do it without the involvement of any coach education institution, because the mentee is going to be attached somewhere.
Correct.
And so, the mentee just cannot write an email to ICF. Sorry, Nitin, I interrupted you.
You are right. If I understand, let me just understand the question. What you're saying is that in order for you to become MCS, you will need the support from institution which is providing the MCS education, as well as the support from ICF, because ICF is going to provide you the bars education or assessment education. And that's the question that you're asking.
Yeah, and even when I want to continue being MCS, because this journey will go on. I'm not going to do it once and then be done with it, right? My mentoring work will keep going on. So even in future, while I'm mentoring, it's going to be those students or mentees who are affiliated somewhere or who are taking their coach education. It could be PCC, it could be ACC.
So in those cases, students would need not to go to ICF. Once you are qualified as an MCS and you are registered with the ICF, if you say that I have mentor coached this person, and that person says I have been mentor coached by Nirali and Nirali is already an MCS, then there is no connection that a student needs to establish with ICF.
Or Nirali needs to establish with coach educator.
Yes, Nirali also need not to do it with the coach educator.
Okay, so this is a very independent work. Okay,
yes.
Okay, I hear you. Okay, thanks for clarifying.
So there are still people who want to be mentor coached around their competencies and abilities, irrespective of whether they've completed their credentialing or not completed their credentialing. And so that is where the mentor coaches who are available, who are not associated with any organization, will come into play.
Yes.
But they need to have an MCS or a 10-hour, whichever one. Yes, that is applicable.
So for being an MCS, we have to invest for once, and then the work goes on. Right. Thank you.
And this is also a 3-year renewal. So every 3 years you will need to get the MCS renewal as well. ICF it does require a renewal. And what's the cost of MCS? I think as of now ICF has not announced the cost, but I think I read it somewhere, it's probably $150 and $225, $250 based on whether you are a member or not member, and those kind of
for
things.
For the specialization.
For the specialization.
Like the way you do your credentialing. Yeah.
Correct.
And similar is $50.
Similar is for the renewal. But renewal would also have some kind of a CCUs that you would need to acquire for mentor coaching specialization by the time when you will become eligible for it.
Maybe from SCI. Sorry, I couldn't stop laughing at what Ajit had put in chat.
Yeah, why not for SCI? Okay, so next 2 slides are about that only.
So I think one important question that Sunil has also asked is MCS is same for L1, L2 path and portfolio path. Is the question that he's asking. Yes, MCS. Go ahead.
So MCS is different for L1, L2. MCS ACC is different. MCS PCC is different. MCS education will remain same. The assessment part of whether you are completing the ACC bars from the ICF or the PCC markers from the ICF will define whether you will become the MCS ACC or MCS PCC.
And can I be both?
Yes, you can be both. By the way, Sunil, Nitin and I had a huge debate around this before we actually got into this webinar. And what we came to the understanding is education is different from being an MCS. Education is the path to become an MCS. So can you be an MCS mentoring L1 and L2? Absolutely.
Yes.
You can. Provided if you're doing L1, you should have done your ACC bars. If you're doing L2, you should have done your PCC markers. That's what it is. Along with the MCS.
And my personal recommendation to everybody is that even if you are doing L1, please complete your PCC markers training.
Yes.
Okay, PCC markers training is huge lever which will help you understand much better the markers. After that, doing ACC bars becomes piece of cake. But if you do the PCC bars training, you would miss a lot, from the PCC markers. So my recommendation is do PCC markers first.
I actually subscribed to that. I did my PCC markers first, and then later on I thought, chalo ACC bars bhi kar lenge.
That makes sense. In fact, even I was dipping into the PCC markers while I was already started mentoring. Coaching.
And in the ICF learning portal, there's a program on it that you can actually subscribe, learn, and get yourself PCC marker trained by ICF.
Saras, if you don't mind,
assessor.
Afterwards, if you can just forward that to me whenever you can.
So we'll talk about this, Nalina.
Yeah.
Can I just plug in a question? So this evaluation training bars and PCC markers, is the PCC evaluation that gets 40 CCUs, is that the same?
That's the one. That's the one.
Oh, okay, thank God. So because I paid for it just about 2 months back, and I was like, if this changes, then whatever I put is also gone.
So interestingly, and for your benefit, Sunil, I will tell you. So ICF has updated their ICF competencies in 2025, and I was kind of doing that PCC marker training around that time. So I asked ICF, are you going to change PCC marker as well? Are you going to change PCC training? So I said, don't worry about it. Nothing is changing in PCC markers or training for now.
For now. I think that's important.
For now. And for now means, so for now what was meant is, this competency update is not causing a change in PCC markers. Correct. Maybe next competency update may.
Yeah. That was 2.0 they said, no Nitin? That was 2.0, right? They called that PCC SSA training 2.0.
Yes. Okay, good to move on. Saras, is there any other question pending?
No, there is no other question pending.
Okay, good. So we'll move to the next one.
Yeah, Saras, I think this is where we need to answer Dr. Mona, who's been very patient about who are the providers. So by the way, Dr. Mona, who are the providers? You will possibly be able to find it after, the minute ICF starts saying that, these are the people who are accredited to do the program. But the way ICF typically does it is for any accreditation program. This is, of course, a specialization program. What they will do is they will get you to run a batch and see how it is going. And then based on that, they will award you your accreditation or specialization. And our guess is the same will happen here as well. right? So you may be joining organizations who are doing these kind of education programs, which may not have that specialization, by ICF right now. But all this will feed into, so you will get it in retrospect. That's what is important for you to know that. And there are many such organizations. So here we are talking about our pathway. And I think what we need to talk about is the 10R and the MCS. So the 10R helps you get your MCS, and the MCS is if you don't have anything else, then you do that fresh program entirely. So our program, because it's a 10R program, it has 6 modules where we are. One of the things that we have learned, which is very crucial in the preparation to become an MC, an MCS, is that you need to understand what is the role difference between the different roles that you play. And some of you may be just independent mentor coaches, some of you may be working with an organization. And our experience of having started the coach education L1, L2 programs, your coach, educator, mentor coach, assessor, all these roles can become a little, and even supervisor for that matter, or an observer in the session, all those roles can get muddled. So first is we are actually looking at how do you understand these roles separately, and therefore what makes a mentor coach's role very different from all the other roles. Of course, the standards which are important to understand. I think the most important thing which all this entire 6-module program is based on is on the ICF mentor coaching competencies. If you haven't read it, please read it. It's a good document to read because it covers a lot about the being, doing, and even the thinking of an ICF mentor coach, which I think is a long time awaiting, which has happened in 2024. Our program, so what does it mean? 1.5 hours every week, which will combine both sync and async, which is offline and online learning. And there will also be support for practicing mentor coaching after the program, so that you are able to do that as a continuous practice. And we intend to launch on 15th of June. And yeah, I think the important piece to say is if you're interested, you can connect with us, write to us, and or we could send you the brochure depending on what works for you. Any other questions on this, or we can move ahead?
So it's MCS education plus ACC bars for mentoring. Yes.
Sorry, I didn't see that. Was that a chat message?
I think you already answered.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, shall we move on?
Let's move to the next one. Yeah. So I think again here the foundation is your mentor coaching competency, and based on that, how are you actually going to look at deeper dive into becoming a mentor coach? So I'm just going to take a moment because all this is up there. I'm not going to repeat what you see already there, 8 modules and so on. But I think what it's important to know is that it is spread over 3 hours every 2 weeks. Nitin, have we got that 2 weeks right here?
Yes.
Okay, so 3 hours every 2 weeks. We are giving a break between the weeks. 41 hours with live and recorded mentor coaching experience. So what does this mean? It basically means that you would be doing mentor coaching in the session. You would also be working with recorded mentor coaching sessions as well, so that you were able to practice. The focus is to make it as experiential as possible. And also to say that, all these, the support that is required, so that you can start practicing your mentor coaching before you're out there and saying that, okay, now I'm using this in practice. That also will be available after the program.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say that, everything is happening through SCI, like let's say this 41 hours of this education that is required for NCS. And obviously if it is like the markers and the bars, then anyway, you'll direct us to the link and we'll do it from there. and things are sorted. The only thing remaining is those 10 hours where we might not have reached the 10th number yet, or the 5 clients where we might not have reached the number of 5 clients. Maybe we are somewhere stuck with 2 or 3. So will SCI also support with 2 more clients so that we can reach the goal, and then we can apply for this MCS to be culminated?
I think this is going to be, and we want. So let me answer that question. We want to. Okay,
Yes.
we will see how the program progresses and what requirement comes in from SCI, because our L1 programs are continuously running. We could always provide you the training and the mentor coaches for the participants that we have. So we want to. Okay, but if ICF says no, somebody needs to go through the entire group coaching and mentor coaching as well and need to provide 10 hours, then we'll have to figure out how many hours do we need to provide or how many people do we need to provide. So don't want to make any commitment right now, but our willingness to provide you the support that is required for you to get to MCS is there.
Yeah, because otherwise, only for those 1 or 2 clients, then the MCS journey is.
And I completely agree. Yeah. I completely agree. We are invested in your growth, to be honest with you.
Fair enough. Thank you. You answered my question.
So I'll just flash the slide once more and say if you need to reach out, please reach out here.
So I just want to leave with one thought, and that is, so when we were preparing this webinar for all of you, one of the things that came to our mind is, what is our intent of doing this webinar for all of you? We have plodded through literally for the past so many weeks to figure out what does it actually mean, and we know others, there will be many more who are also struggling with the same kind of need to understand and so on, because we do have a world of mentor coaches who's actually sitting there. So while yes, we are going to talk about a program, but it was more about helping understand what is really going on here, why is it going on, so that you can make an informed choice.
Thank you guys. Quick checkout feeling, as you say.
So checkout feeling is just what you're feeling in the moment, whatever you want to share, please.
I'll share and leave that I am really motivated to reach out. So we'll talk soon. Thanks.
Sure.
And
thank you.
Bye everyone. It was a great evening. Time well invested. Bye Sunil.
Thank
Good to see you here. We'll talk.
Thank you.
Bye. Yeah. Bye Nitin. Bye Saras. Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, then see you.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Really good. Obviously, I'm hearing this a lot for the first time, and as many questions and a lot of answers we've also received. So yeah, definitely we'll connect and explore further.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye.